from Tampa Stadium. It's the first ever all-kids Super Bowl halftime show!
Beyonce's electric stage presence and natural-born performing ability. Prince shredding it up in the rain like no one else can. Hell, even Katy Perry's over-the-top stage work or little Bruno Mars putting more energy into the universe pound for pound than any musical act alive. Simply put, when it comes to Super Bowl halftime shows, we've come to expect sheer entertainment and eye-popping spectacle. But in 1991, we were treated to everything absurdly cringeworthy about popular culture in one neatly packaged set. This is the worst Super Bowl halftime show. Tampa Stadium, Tampa, Florida, January 27th, the year of our Lord, 1991, Super Bowl Sunday. The New York Giants, led by Lawrence Taylor, are hanging surprisingly close with Jim Kelly's high-powered Buffalo Bills. Buffalo's up 12-10 at halftime, so it's time for the show. With the now iconic pregame Whitney Houston national anthem, I mean, look at this perfection. So, how do you follow that with even more on-field entertainment excellence at halftime? Thousands of kids and dozens of costume characters take their places ready to entertain millions. Wait, hold on, nobody watching the game at home even saw this wondrous blonde bowl-cut helmet or the actual halftime show because...
I'm Peter Jennings at ABC News headquarters.
10 days earlier, US troops began bombing Iraqi forces as part of Operation Desert Storm in Kuwait and Iraq. So, the meticulously choreographed halftime show involving 3,500 children and Disney characters gets preempted for a special report from ABC News anchor Peter Jennings with updates on the latest news from the Persian Gulf. It features nuanced stories from reporters on the ground in the region, but with the complexities of war and human lives at stake, it seems good to approach these things with proper context. While everyone at home is reminded of the horrors of war, the 73,000 fans in the stadium were given a different type of distraction. After Peter Jennings' news colleague welcomes us, we get a small world salute to 25 years of the Super Bowl. Can you even tell, maybe if you squint your eyes, that Disney is involved? So we have the characters you recognize, thousands of what we can only assume are animatronic Disney kid robots, an oddly Canadian Winnie the Pooh, and mid-career Warren Moon for some reason, and even more Disney. Again, this is 1991, so it's the shiny beginning of our still ongoing nightmare of movie studios pumping out as many movies to cater to kids as possible. Home Alone is in its 11th straight week at #1. Kevin! And at #4, The Terminator is now a kindergarten cop.
It's not a tumor.
And in the coming years, Disney will roll out Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, The Lion King, and Pocahontas, which all rule, but it also means Chicken Little and The Emperor's New Groove become things, which doesn't rule. Speaking of which, here's our first halftime star, a perfectly cute little kid singing Wind Beneath My Wings.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
It's 1991, and unlike today, we can just appreciate football and cheesy singing and not have the NFL use complex geopolitical issues and brave soldiers overseas as hollow entertainment props. Oh, wait, nope. That's what's now really happening in a super clumsy way.
Tonight, the real heroes are in the Middle East protecting peace for all of us kids.
And here are George and Barb keeping that fun time energy high. And naturally, if you can believe it, this jingoism even extends to beer commercials with a guy singing America.
Here's to you, America.
Over.
Here's to you, America.
And over.
America.
And don't worry, there's a random Olympian played by Coming to America's Eric LaSalle, soon to be a must-see TV mainstay on ER. You know what? Listen, late January 1991 was actually a pretty great time for TV. Seinfeld, Cheers, Major Dad? But the rest of what was on was not as good. The Trial of Jack Kevorkian, charmingly referred to as Dr. Death. The first episode of The Jerry Springer Show, which in a few short years would go from this...
When you were talking with the Iranians about getting the hostages back
to this. Even The Simpsons went on to use kids as unwitting military recruitment tools, even at Neoj. On an episode called New Kids on the blech. Which brings us to our big 1991 halftime finale act of New Kids on the Block, who danced and sang their way to multi-platinum glory with Step by Step. Jonathan, Jordan, Joey, Donnie, and Danny, yes, I had to look it up, are surrounded by the small world animatronic Disney kids representing various countries before singing about kids with kids running out to them. Thankfully, this random kid is thinking what we all are and is so confused. Seriously, shout out to this kid who is not having it with Boy Scouts, cowboys, shiny gold kids, maracas, Donald Duck. It's as if he knew that some 20-odd years later, the NFL would be paid millions of dollars for shows of patriotism intended to promote military recruitment during NFL games without disclosing anything.
And thanks to our armed forces everywhere.
The good news is, the first Gulf War didn't actually last too long. Most TV viewers didn't actually ever see this halftime show, and if they did, they saw it after the game if their market decided to air it post-game. Also, halftime shows got way better. Michael Jackson moonwalked his way all over the Rose Bowl. Lady Gaga repelled all over Houston, and Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson definitely performed. Oh, and also the game itself. Western New York knows this. This has to be the worst halftime show because it's directly associated with the most brutal ending to a Super Bowl ever, as Bills kicker Scott Norwood pushes the potential Buffalo game-winning field goal wide right, sealing the game for the Giants and sending Buffalo down the lonesome road to 4 straight Super Bowl losses. So yes, pretty much everything was atrocious that happened in Tampa Stadium, at least after Whitney Houston. But the special thing about the halftime show is that the infestation of bad taste is everywhere you look, and there was no escape from the garbage trends 1991 unleashed onto the world. So remember, your memories are a lie. It's all just a way to forget the horrific present. So just be quiet and be thankful Bruno Mars even exists. It's a small, small world.
Fun fact, the kid right at the beginning, it's me. Go watch it again, you'll see. Thanks for watching The Worst. Comment down below with what worst you want to see. Subscribe to SB Nation, and we'll see you next time.